Hello, I'm Anne Bartlett, a Blue Badge tour guide, and today I'm visiting Tetbury, a gorgeous historic Cotswold market town that's full of interest and surprises. Tetbury is considered a gateway to the Cotswolds, which is an area of outstanding natural beauty. The Cotswolds are very prosperous during the Middle Ages, with flocks of sheep grazing the pastures. The quality of the wool produced was considered the finest in Europe, and Tetbury became a very important market for the sale of this wool, which was shipped to the continent to make fine cloth. This lucrative industry has long since gone, but the merchants built fine houses, and today Tetbury is noted for its fine architecture, its fashionable boutiques, its antique shops, and its fine food, and also its royal connections. Not far away is Highgrove, the Gloucestershire home of His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall. I'm looking forward to showing you around Tetbury, so come on, let's go and explore the town together.
This is the A433 road from Bath to Cirencester, which bridges a river valley before entering the centre of Tetbury. Tetbury became an important staging post during the coaching era. The building on the right is the toll house, where money from passing traffic used to be collected to maintain the road. It's now a private house. The A433 was built to bypass the old road into Tetbury, which is in fact still here on the right. Back in the early 17th century, roads in general were in a deplorable state. Travel was along rutted tracks and unmade roads. Merchants who bought the wool used pack horses to transport it, and they used the well-trodden tracks crossing the country to reach the seaports to ship their wool to the continent. The pack horses and merchants would have used the pack horse bridge on the right. The coaches would have forded the stream, which has since been culverted. The numerous arches you see on the left carries the new road over a tiny stream. The bridge was built long enough to overcome the deep valley and inconveniently steep gradient the coaches had to negotiate before getting to the town. Here is the picturesque 17th century market house, built on stone pillars. In addition to wool, Tetbury was a market for agricultural produce, and it was here that cheese, butter, bacon, eggs, etc. were sold. If you look up on top of the building, you'll notice a cupola with a bell under the roof, a weather vane above, and a pair of dolphins right at the top. Also notice the dolphin-shaped brackets holding the hanging baskets. Dolphins are the unofficial coat of arms for the town. No one really knows why they were chosen, but there's a lovely but rather fanciful story that has passed down through the ages. The lord of the manor was on a ship sailing to Ireland. During the sea crossing, the boat hit some wreckage and began to sink. Everyone on board fell to their knees and prayed for deliverance. Miraculously, the ship stopped sinking and they were able to reach port. When they examined the ship, they found that 2 dolphins had wedged themselves in the hole, thus saving them all from drowning. So now when you walk around the town, look out for pairs of dolphins in all sorts of places. This is the Church Street end of the market hall, which was enlarged, and the open arches filled in to accommodate the town's fire engine, a horse-drawn one rather than the modern one you see here. There were quite a few coaching inns in Tetbury, offering food, drink and accommodation for the weary traveller. The Snooty Fox, right in the town centre by the market hall, was originally called the White Hart. It was renamed the Snooty Fox because the area was renowned for its fox hunting. The Dukes of Beaufort lived at Badminton House just down the road, and they had one of the oldest and most prestigious hunts in the country. People came to stay for the hunting season, and an invitation to a Tetbury ball here was highly sought after. Today, if you walk into reception, you'll see their mascot, a very large fox dressed in hunting pink. Some years ago, the staff got very upset when their mascot disappeared. They thought he'd been stolen, but soon discovered he'd gone travelling with an unknown companion because they started receiving signed postcards from him from different parts of the world. Foxy has been returned, and the postcards from his travels are on display along the corridor. Foxy is very pleased that a law has been passed making it illegal to hunt animals. But the tradition continues with the hounds and riders following a scented trail instead. Just round the corner from the snooty fox is the Crown Inn, situated at the top of Gumstool Hill. This is the start and finish line of the Woolsack races. Here is a short clip of a Woolsack race with the hundreds of spectators urging and cheering the competitors on.
Green, yellow, red and yellow, sorry. Green's got 20 yards to go. 20 yards to go. Green, red and yellow. Their legs are burning right now. 5 yards to go. Has he crossed the line? I'm not sure. Yes, I think he has. It's green, red and yellow in third place.
There are a series of relay races up and down the hill, which has a gradient of 1 in 4 at its steepest part, with men carrying a 60-pound wool sack across their shoulders and women a 35-pound sack. The day is lots of fun, and there's a bustling street fair as well, offering delicious local food, music, side stalls and rides. The event raises lots of money for charity, but it's a tradition, and it's lovely that it continues. At the bottom of Gumstool Hill is a pond where people who were considered too gossipy were tied to a stool or chair fixed to a long pole as a seesaw and dunked in the water. This medieval form of punishment, mainly of women, began back in the 15th century. Fortunately, this is a tradition no one would consider continuing as it's inhumane. Gummy is Old English slang for making inane or abusive conversation, hence the name of the hill. Not far away are the delightful chipping steps, built into a small, steep, cobbled lane, alongside which is a row of weavers' cottages. Hidden away just off the car park, through a small medieval alleyway, where you'll see the sign Little Hall, is a doorway to a malt house. All is not quite what it seems. This building was top secret and was where members of the US Army planned the D-Day landings on Omaha Beach during the Second World War. Inside was a large-scale model of Omaha Beach. Unfortunately, it's not open to visitors, but this was a vital centre for the capture of the beach and for the Allies' push inland. Ah, who can walk past this shop without popping in to have a little look around? His Royal Highness Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, bought the Highgrove estate on the outskirts of Tetbury in 1980 and made it his Gloucestershire home. Since then, he's transformed the garden into what is now regarded as one of the most creatively inspired gardens of today. The items on sale in the shop are unique. They're specially chosen by him, and designs for the gifts are influenced by his gardens and are produced by craftsmen and women, some of whom were initially helped by his charitable trust. The profits made by the shop go back to the various charities supported by the Prince's Trust. This is the parish church of St Mary the Virgin. In 1777, the medieval church, with the exception of the tower and spire, were demolished, and the present building, designed by Francis Heorn of Warwick, was opened in 1781. Just over 100 years later, it was noticed that the medieval tower had shifted from the perpendicular, and so it had to be completely rebuilt, and that was done in 1891. It was an exact copy of the original, and they had used nearly all the original material. And the spire is reputed to be the 4th highest parish church spire in the country. Because of COVID-19, I can only give you a glimpse of the light bright interior, and as you can see, it's impressive, with its tall, elegant columns, box pews, and chandeliers. Another place temporarily closed is the Police Museum and Courthouse. Normally it's open during the week and is free to go in. I'm sure when you have the opportunity to visit, you'll be amused at some of the exhibitions. Tetbury is surrounded by lovely countryside, with more places to explore nearby. There's a visitor centre in the town to help and advise you when you arrive, and their details will be in the information below. I do hope that you've enjoyed my short video and your virtual tour of the historic market town of Tetbury. If so, do give it the thumbs up. This is one of a series of videos of towns and villages that I particularly like taking people to see. I have another video due out shortly, so do press subscribe and the bell so that you'll know as soon as the next video comes out. I'm Anne Bartlett, a Blue Badge tour guide, and my website is www.touringexplore.com.